We'll have a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call to order this Wednesday meeting of March 25th. Wish it were April. It's 10 o'clock. All three commissioners are present, and we'll begin with consent and approval. Good morning, Renetta.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 4 exonerations for $4,331.37. Minutes for March 4th and March 11th, 2020. Vouchers General County Fund, $444,167. Poll severance, $1,155.43. 911, $1,651.48. Chestnut Ridge Park, $1,578.86. Mason-Dixon Park, $379.01. Assessor's valuation, $31. Federal forfeiture, $63,356. Morgantown Industrial TIF, $26,186.97. Purchasing card vouchers, General County Fund, $16,713.64. Home confinement, $6,899.73. Chestnut Ridge Park, $36.75. Mason-Dixon Park, $44.25. Assessor's valuation, $284.45 for a voucher total of $356,484.57. Position vacancies for boards and authorities. The Western Board of Zoning Appeals.
That number can't be right. It's 562, 484 and 57 cents.
Is that not what I said?
No, you said 300 something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
562, excuse me, 562, 484.57.
Well, we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Position vacancies for boards and authorities, the Western Board of Zoning Appeals, the Monongalia County Planning Commission, Monongalia County Development Authority, Camp Muffley Advisory Board, Abandoned and Dilapidated Enforcement Agency, Mason-Dixon Park Advisory Board, Region 6 Planning and Development Council, Historic Landmarks Commission, and the Mountaineer Trail Network Authority. Fiduciary orders for March 25th, 2020.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved and second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I don't see anybody except possibly for Carrie, but do we have any? No, we have no introductions of new employees or personnel change. Comments from the public. We're now open for comments from the public. We are quite vacated of public today, which is a good thing. We will close comments from the public. Colleen, do we have grants? Well, good.
I have the agreement for you to sign beats for the Records Management and Preservation Board grant. County Clerk's Office was awarded $10,000, so you just need to sign that.
Well, good.
Move for approval.
Second.
Properly moved and second for approval and signature. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Correspondence. Have
We
we
have-
any correspondence?
We have none.
Really?
No correspondence today. Okay. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, sir.
Okay. On a roll here. New business. First, to consider for approval requisition number 32 for the University Town Center EODD Special District Excise Tax Revenue Refunding and Improvement Bonds, Series 2017 Administrative Expense Fund.
The requisition is for $576.25, and that is to be paid to Municat for their services.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved and second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. To consider approval of the 2021 fiscal year county budget. Sean?
Move for approval with discussion.
Second.
Okay. This budget is a very fiscally responsible, sound, conservative, forward-looking, while still looking, considering the current state of affairs of our county, proactive and reactive budget. I'm very proud of this budget. I think we've kind of covered everything that we'd want to cover. Regarding the general budget, the general fund budget, it increases by a modest amount of 1.62 from 37.1 million to 37.7 million. while at the same time, this budget's predicated on a 2.1% levy decrease. Our levy rate will be, when we vote on it in April, the budget's based off of 11.5 levy rate, down from 11.75. We're able to provide all of our offices with virtually everything they asked for, while on the average, we are decreasing accounts by about 3.39%. In regards to the general breakdown, general government service portion of our budget increased by 1.26%. Health and sanitation increased by 39.6%. Social services increased by 6%. And we continue to build for the future with capital expenditures increasing by 12%. We had some belt tightening with public safety, showing a modest decrease of 1.36. But in working with Sheriff Palmer, we were able to work with him so that he can give his deputies much needed increases, so that his deputies can be competitive with the other municipalities and with the state, and more importantly, because they deserve it. There was a 6.34% decrease in culture and recreation in the general fund, but our grant process, which is funded by the coal severance, reallocated coal, as well as general fund, was successful in awarding 82.49% of the dollars requested, for a grand total of $1,236,100 that was awarded to through the grant process. That's a modest 1% increase over last year's grant request, but last year we were only able to award 54.28% of the requested dollars. We have healthy contingencies in this budget. Our overall contingency fund is fully funded at $3.7 million. We have some contingency in our health area in regards to what may come or expenses that we may ultimately incur as a result of this whole COVID crisis. We have an insurance increase contingency, capital improvements, as I mentioned. We have $1 million put away for our 911 center. We also have money put away for a potential broadband project. Legal contingency, we also have a robust legal contingency budget. Again, as I mentioned, we cut our levy rate we will be cutting our levy rate from 11.75 cents per $100 of assessed value. And we also looked at other things that are going to be affected by this COVID crisis. Renetta's had a great suggestion that we should look at our hotel and motel revenue, because we know that no one's staying in these hotels for 3 months. So we cut our revenue in that area so that we didn't plan something that wasn't going to occur. I mean, those room nights will not be made up. So we cut that budget. Now, overall, I mentioned the sheriff's increase. That was a special request that he brought to us before the budget process. We still will make overall salary adjustments once we know what our final numbers are in July. I want to thank all the elected officials who worked with us to tighten our belts. And again, we were pretty much able to give them everything they asked for while keeping their labor at their current rate. There were some part-time to full-time positions here that we approved. So I think that through the whole process, I think that it was pretty generous. I do want to thank our staff. We couldn't have done this without our staff. Colleen, through the grant process, that's probably one of the most contentious processes that I've dealt with in my 4 years, and it went very smooth. The information is all there. Generally, we meet 3 or 4, 5, 6 times to make those decisions. We met in one afternoon. All the information was there. We made our decisions. Renetta, we're lucky to have somebody with your skill and dedication. I really appreciate everything you did. I mean, this is Renetta's doing. I mean, she carried this, again, with everything that we have going on. I mean, her breadth of the county and its operations is invaluable. Dealing with everything we also had to deal with this COVID crisis, she's also managed this. I know that you put a lot of time into this, and now we have an end product that we can all be proud of, but I really wanted to thank you thank you for all your work you did. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure we all really appreciate it. That's all I have to say. You guys want to you want to add on?
Did you, I can't remember, I apologize. Did you say that we had put some money increase for the possible health insurance increase? Was
Yes.
that mentioned? Okay, I apologize. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because we know we're going to have it right now.
I wanted to make sure that
We've
was
been
in-
working with our insurance company to push that number down, and they have come down for, it was a 22% projected increase to now it's like a 12%, but we
Right.
budgeted for that 12%.
I want to make sure that was mentioned.
Normally, we don't do that until
Right.
carryover, but we
Right.
already have that
It's
taken
done
care
now,
of.
yes. This has been a remarkable bit of work, and it has been done remarkably by Sean and Renata and Colleen. I want to compliment and thank the process. I remember actually the first time that going to a commissioner training and having this presented to me in a very brief form, and then finding out what the process really was very different. So it's been properly moved and second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Consideration to approve change order number 1 for Frontier Communication Phone System planned upgrade.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved and second for approval. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I don't see any other new business. Reports from elected officials. Okay. Did Jimmy leave?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I
Okay.
was going to let him
He
give
got
a
called, yeah.
Okay, I was going to let him give a report. Reports from county commissioners. Sean?
Since our last meeting, obviously, we usually report a bunch of meetings, but they've all been either cut short or gone virtual. But last Thursday, we had our virtual MMPO meeting. Friday, we had staff meetings, JIC call, which is the Joint Incident Command call that we have twice a week. And then we spent the whole afternoon, all the commissioners and Renata kind of finalizing a lot of these budget items. This week, we've been also keeping up with the governor's briefings. Monday, we had Governor Justice's briefing where he issued the stay-home order. We have a call on Monday and Wednesdays with all of the county officials to make sure that we're all comparing notes in regards to how we're managing our staff. And we also had a lot of work on the budget process on Monday. Tuesday, we had the JIC call and continuing work on the budget. Wednesday, today, we had our pre-call with Greene County this morning. Again, I think it's a very useful call. They kind of tell us what they're doing, and it's good to hear that we're doing a lot of things alike, and we're all pretty much on top of this whole COVID-19 process to the best of our ability. Today's a regular day. We have Governor Justice's briefing this afternoon, which was at 11 o'clock. So it bumped it was at 10:30. It bumped our county officials call. And so I changed our call to 11:30 at the county officials, and then he changed his to 3. So it's been like playing hopscotch, trying to keep up with the briefings out of Charleston. And remarkably, nothing for tomorrow. Friday's a meeting with staff and another JIC call. I want to continue to thank Dr. Smith and Jimmy Smith for keeping on top of this COVID crisis. Dr. Smith regularly, I texted him a phone number for our call today, and he responded to me like 4:30 in the morning. In regards to what's going on. And Jimmy, I've texted him and say, hey, Jimmy, I'm hearing this, trying to keep track of the numbers. And really, there's, I don't pay attention to numbers until Jimmy or Dr. Smith tells me, because obviously there's a lot of miscommunication that goes around. So, and I also want to thank David Goldberg for all of his work in keeping us informed, and obviously being on the front lines along with all of our other first responders. We're really happy to have somebody of David's talent manning the Mon Health system and keeping us apprised, because they have a lot of the actual confirmed cases right now. So that's all I have to say.
I actually have good news to talk about during this time. First of all, I'd like to just update the public of what happened on Saturday. We had the Pantry Plus More food giveaway. We did, for the first time in Star City, a drive-through by cars. We had 350 boxes of food. We had 349 cars. We were very lucky. However, we have requested for the next month 450 boxes of food because we believe that will increase. And I do want to do a shout out and thank the Star City officials, but especially Mayor Herman Reed and Steve Blinko and the police who had it organized. We had cars all over the city and they had it organized and it went real well. Very pleased with that situation. The second thing I want to talk about real quickly is that I want to thank the county commissioners for allowing me to move forward with this idea, and it was approved by Dr. Smith. And what we did was we formed a Monongalia County Unsheltered Task Force. What this task force does is to work and develop plans for addressing the issues to meet the needs of the homeless population. We are one of the first in the area, if not in the region, to come up with an actual plan. I do want to just say for the public that the committee is made up of Rachel Cohen, who is willing to be the chairperson, who's the West Virginia Coalition to End Homelessness, Carrie DeMasi from the Bartlett House, Laura Jones from Health Right, Jimmy Smith from 911, Lee Smith, the Health Department or his designee, David Goldberg, Mon Health, and his designee or his designee, Albert Wright, WVU Hospital or his designee, and Jeanette Lewis from the United Way. And rather than giving out the specifics of what's going on, I'd rather explain what has happened since they have been meeting several times. We have a second memo coming out later this afternoon. But Rachel Cohen, and I have to give her accolades, but she really took this on, spoke about the plans about the Bartlett House developing additional beds and for quarantine beds on a regional call with the director of the HUD field office in Pittsburgh. While it was obvious that most communities do not have a plan and are spending much more time complaining about what they don't have, it was nice to have her talk about our community working together to devise a plan. After the call, Rachel spoke with Carrie DeMasi, who informed her that she was being inundated with numerous calls from other shelters requesting information about how the plan was developed. I also passed this plan on to Greene County because they're very interested in this. So it says a lot about the individuals in this community. And a final statement is, this is a difficult time, and I really appreciate the community following the rules and the governor's statement of trying to stay 6 feet apart, trying to stay home in quarantine, and we will get through this together.
Thank you.
President, I have a point of order. I didn't mention a set of minutes that was on our consent agenda. Okay, so there was one, the minutes for March 18th, okay, which are in here, which
that's fine if you want to
are approved. I move that we approve this.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second to approve said minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. I'm reminded of sometimes how old I am in that I fit into the category that everybody's talking about regard to this, this contagion. I know how valuable health is. I've watched patients, over patients for 40 years. I was struck this morning by a lady walking who seemed to be all alone and have no one. So I asked you out there if you are able to be of support for somebody that you know might need some assistance, do so. If not, contact us. We'll see where we can put you or that person in contact with maybe the help that they may need. This is not an easy time. It's not an easy thing to say. I really had no idea that we would be facing something like this in our times. So I congratulate and thank Sean and Renetta and everybody for all the work that they've done on this budget. It's a remarkable document. I think it's well thought out, and I'm happy that we see that Milan is ramping up production of their malarial drug that that it has promise for treatment of this. And lastly, the need is going to be out there. Of course, we're for those that are in need of food. So I would like to put on the agenda next week that we just simply discuss without having a work session, making a contribution to those individuals that are delivering food. That would be the Pantry Plus, and I also want to investigate to see where we stand with the Meals on Wheels. We need to be able to support these entities, and if we have the means and discussion, and this commission decides to on next week's meeting, then we'll see what we can do to augment and support these entities that are providing this very basic service to the children and to the elderly. We cannot let them fall through the cracks. Thank you.
Ed, can I add one thing? Who would have thought months ago when we were watching WU play and wondering where they were going to be in the Final Four that there'd be no Final Four, that there'd be no Stanley Cup hockey, there'd be no NBA playoffs. I mean, there's no sports, there's no nothing. But the statistics that are coming out always sound grim, but I just want to make this point in regards to Mon County. There was only one case in Mon County tested positive that isn't involved with Sundale. So that's and Sundale's situation is very under. I mean, I don't want to say under control, but the people that need to be taking the actions that are appropriate are taking those actions, and it's being managed to the best of the ability. So residents need to understand we've only had one case, and that case was the pastor that had gone to Israel, and that was the best case possible.
Yep.
That's the best result of a bad thing because he came back self-quarantined and had been self-quarantined in minimal contact, since he took that travel. So our first responders, our health officials are all, I think the message is getting out. I hope people continue to, stay home, continue to follow those directives so we can continue to keep that number down. But it does seem bleak when you hear 18, and that's half of what of the cases that are in the state. But
yes.
it's all that's associated with one entity, and the rest is we only have one.
If I could add one more thing that I forgot to say, we are also working the committee with the Waterfront Hotel, Scholars Hotel, and the Holiday Inn. They have offered rooms for, as you said, first responders or staff members who may need a place to stay for a period of time, the 14 days. We're working that out right now. So, again, the community is trying to come up with plans, and I want to thank those 3 hotels for offering that.
And lastly, it would be remiss if I did not mention what the Board of Education is trying to do to make sure that all the food, as the restaurants that are providing, help in this, in this crisis. So, everybody's working together here. I think that's the key element, and keeping in that, be kind.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.